All right, so a common thread that I notice amongst actors that I've been speaking to is that a lot of them actually have representation, right? But they either realize or they don't realize that their representation doesn't have the pull that they thought that they did. So what do I this? They ask for a submission report and they realize that they're getting submitted to a ton of things, right? But they're not actually getting the appointment for the audition. There's a difference, there's a stark disparity between getting a submission and actually getting the appointment. Casting actually has to choose you to actually get the appointment, right? So a lot of the actors that I'm talking to have representation. The representation is getting them the submissions, they're submitting them for the projects, but they're not actually getting the appointment, so they're stuck wondering why they're not getting any auditions. And they think that their team isn't doing anything, right? But they don't understand that fundamentally their team just probably doesn't have the pull to actually get them the appointment. And what do I this? So from my experience, could be wrong, but from my experience and what I've heard from my reps directly, verbatim, is that there's almost like a merit system in Hollywood, and especially within companies, where if your company that you're with is more reputable, they're more credible, they've had more clients book with this casting director, and they have more of a name, that casting director is more likely to actually trust them more and give them first dibs when it comes to submissions. So if a casting director is casting a project, she puts out a breakdown, and she gets submissions from a company that she's consistently casting from or bringing in actors that are reliable from, whenever she gets a new pool of actors from a company that she may have not heard of or may not have the reputability or credibility that other company has, then there's a disparity, and she's going to go with the team or the company or the actors that she trusts and knows are more reliable. So what happens to the pool of actors that are with the less reputable companies or the teams that have less credibility? Well, they tend to get overlooked or they don't even get seen. So you have this huge pool of actors that are being submitted, but they don't see any auditions or any appointments. So this leaves a large group of actors wondering why they don't see any auditions for months upon months upon months. And it's not because their agents aren't actually submitting them. It's because they simply don't have the pull to actually get them in the room. Now, like I said, this is open for interpretation. I just have found from my experience and talking to actors and talking to my team at the time, this is something that was told to me by a higher up and an actual agent I was working with, that this is actually what's going on behind the scenes. So a lot of actors are wondering why they feel stuck, why they're not getting the opportunities that they want, and they feel like they're getting the submission report and they're like, well, I'm being submitted, but I'm not actually getting the appointment. That's typically the problem, right? So how do you troubleshoot this as an actor? In my opinion, from my experience, this is why I try to have a very thorough vetting process with whatever agent or manager that I'm trying to sign with, right? Now, I know there's nuance to it. If you're starting out, you don't have that many credits. I understand it's harder to even get representation, but that's just something you're gonna have to work through. You're gonna have to put in the reps, build your materials to get to a competitive level to actually attract those level of agents and managers, right? And this is what I help actors do inside my community. But let's say you already have a bit of some credits and you're in the market for new reps, right? It's about having an extensive vetting and research process to make sure that the company that you're going to is actually reputable. They have working actors. They have interrelationships. They have actors that are signed with even higher tier agents or managers, right? This is all showing that the company is actually able to funnel actors from one level to the other, and they're actually able to move the needle and elevate them.